you are not supposed to be working for corporate lobbyists. You're supposed to be working for Canadian workers. And that is why we will be pushing extra hard this fall, to put an end to the temporary foreign worker program, so we have Canadian jobs for Canadian workers.
That was Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre today, calling for an end to the government's temporary foreign worker program. The Conservatives say the program is taking jobs away from Canadian youth. That as the youth unemployment rate edged up to 14.6% this summer. Fabian Lange is an economics professor at McGill University and the Canada Research Chair in Labour and Personnel Economics. Professor, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So we have a youth unemployment number that is not at a good level, 14.6%, the highest it's been since 2010 if you take out the COVID years. What's contributing to that number?
Youth unemployment is it's like a canary in the coal mine. It's one of the measures that moves the most with a business cycle. I mean, youth unemployment almost by definition are all individuals just entering the labor market. They are all looking for jobs. So when hiring slows down, unemployment in that group is going to be the first to move rapidly. And that's what's happening right now. So I think this is primarily a business cycle phenomenon.
So this is, at the entry-level jobs, this may be the most fungible part of your payroll if you're a business where you make decisions to hire or not hire. And because of all the uncertainty that's happening in the Canadian economy right now, this is where we're seeing it first.
Exactly. So I think what's happening is that firms are putting investment on hold, right? They're maybe not yet stopping their production processes at quite the levels that we have seen maybe in the Great Recession or during COVID, but they're not investing as much, and as they're not investing, they're not hiring as much, and they're retaining the current workforce for the most part, but they are not hiring new employees, and these employees would be disproportionately drawn from young individuals, people re-entering the labor market or entering it anew, and so the unemployment rates go up. I think that's the main factor.
Right. Okay, so what we saw yesterday, though, was a political argument that the temporary foreign workers program is playing a role in costing young Canadians jobs and opportunities, and the Conservatives, their leader Pierre Poilievre, just called for it to be completely scrapped. Is the temporary foreign workers program, is that a big factor, or a key factor, or a small factor in this? What role does it play, if any?
I mean, if we look at the recent increase, I think the temporary foreign worker program is unlikely to play a huge factor. I mean, it is a little bit of an increase in the supply. Over the last 10 years, it has actually been a relatively large increase in the supply of labor in Canada. But if you look at the timelines, that doesn't add up to the more recent increase in youth unemployment. So it's just like, it's essentially not plausible that we would see the spike in youth unemployment right now caused by an increase in the temporary foreign workers that has been building up over a much longer time period. So I don't think it's a main factor.
Okay, so getting rid of it wouldn't necessarily change the picture for underemployed or unemployed Canadian youth?
Yeah, I don't think it would make a big difference.
Okay, because I have seen some reporting, it was Desjardins Economics, I believe, that talked about how immigration has played a role in denying opportunities for younger Canadians. But this is mostly students, for example, international students that came in the big surge in the college system as post-secondary institutions tried to, well, either use it to get cash or to offset cuts from government spending. But that stream seems to have been closed or reduced to some degree. How do you see that? Do you agree with Desjardins that is maybe the main impact there?
I didn't have much time to parse the report by Desjardins, but just looking it over, there are two aspects to this. The temporary foreign workers that have joined and are in the younger population, they themselves have a higher unemployment rate than Canadian young individuals. So just mechanically, they are pushing up the unemployment rate because this particular group has a larger unemployment share. But that doesn't mean that they are costing individuals among Canadians graduating from college or graduating from high school jobs, right? And then in the larger the larger numbers, the willingness of firms to hire just is such a much bigger factor than the increase in the supply of labor that might be competing for the jobs through the temporary foreign worker program or through the student numbers that have been incoming.
Okay, so this is essentially a symptom and a consequence and a leading indicator of what promises to be most likely an economic down cycle. Maybe a recession, certainly low growth, if not negative growth. That's what we're seeing showing up in the high youth unemployment rather than strictly an immigration-fueled thing.
That's what I believe. So I don't think it is immigration. I think this is a leading indicator. And one further factor that I suspect, I don't have the data to back it up quite yet, to suspect plays a role is that our structure of labor demand has been shifting towards healthcare and social assistance. And that is not traditionally an industry in which young workers are, people who are graduating from high school or from college are moving in quite the same numbers. That takes longer. So I think there has been a move away in the structure of the labor demand that we have towards those professions, away from retail, food, and accommodation, the kind of jobs that a student might take in order to sustain, to help them earn some extra income, right? And so that's going to also contribute to this.
Right.
Now, at the moment, I haven't done the empirical analysis to back that up with facts. I just know about this change in the structure of the demand.
So this is undoubtedly, just as a final point, Professor, this is going to be, well, it already is a political issue. It's going to be a political issue when you have specific cohorts at record high levels of unemployment. It draws some attention. The cabinet is meeting to plan a response to the overall economic challenges. This is going to be an issue when Parliament returns in a couple of weeks. Are there specific things that can be done at a national government level to help alleviate this, or is it just find a way to improve the overall economic situation, and that will kind of deal with the problem itself?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is the crux of the matter. I think that is really what's going to have to happen. The overall economic situation is going to have to improve. I am sure there will be one program here and one program there that's going to be proposed, mostly because politicians will think that they have to show activity. But if our economy goes into a recession, seems to be going into a recession, then we will see this increase in youth unemployment. It's almost inevitable. So if you want to avoid this, try to make this a short and shallow recession. And that's a question for monetary policy and fiscal policy.
And the President of the United States, most likely. That seems to be,
yes.
There's a key driver there. That's a conversation for another day. Professor, it was good to meet you. Thank you for your time. This is Fabian Lange, economics professor at McGill University. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.